So I decided to get out of Berlin for a little bit, and I came to Wittenberg. Admittedly, I know very little about Martin Luther and his hanging of his 95 Theses on the church door. I am not a religious person, but I am a historian. So I thought it was important to come here, check out this place. I think this is gonna be cool. I've been wanting to come here for a while. I just, for some reason, haven't. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so.
The roads that lay open are many. When the old one's gone under the knife, and I can feel the sun on my skin.
So far, this reminds me a lot of Bayreuth. A lot of these small German towns have that same feel, you know, that Bayreuth had. I do miss Bayreuth, but I'm glad I'm in Berlin, but Bayreuth was nice. So allegedly, this is the door that Martin Luther hung his 95 Theses on. Whether that's true or legend is up to you to decide. Don't ask me what the 95 Theses were. They were complaints he had against the Catholic Church. I'm sure pretty valid, in my opinion of the church. But you know, I am not a theologian, and I am not the right person to ask that question. It truly was a ground-breaking, earth-shattering moment in history. All right, so I think it's €5 to get in. I'm typically morally opposed to paying to get into churches, but I feel like this is probably important, probably worth seeing, so we're gonna go inside. So it's definitely worth a pop into the church. It's very, you know, it's a European church, you know, but it is cool to know that this was the location where one of the most significant things in human history took place, right? So it's €5 to get into the Melanchthon House. I don't know who this person is, to be honest with you, but I'm sure there's some cool stuff in here. This is like the worst tour guide ever because I don't know anything about this era, but we're learning together. I'm sure I'll do a voiceover explaining who he was, but for now, yeah, we're learning together. He had a lot of busts of him done, huh? This is a weird one. So this house was built in the 1500s, as Melanchthon considered piety and learning not as opposing ideas, but rather as one. Some of the old religious folks back in the US could learn a thing or two from that, couldn't they? Wish that I could stay. Religion and education do not have to be opposed to each other, right? I will carry you on my shoulders as long as I'm able. Scare the monsters under your bed. Deep Apparently he wrote over 9,000 letters in his life, more than any of the other Wittenberg reformers. His habits included rising very early, and after his morning prayers, he would spend the first hours of the day writing letters. Some of the letters enabled him to keep in contact with friends and facilitated scholarly exchange. Others were for official purposes. Princes, nobles, and citizens swamped the Wittenberg reformers with queries and requests. So like this was the epicenter, the heart, the brain, the functioning center of the Reformation.
But no matter what comes your way, I will stay right here beside you to catch you if you fall. And deep and abiding, liking for you is all I need. Until my heart gives in, I will do everything I can for you. Deep and abiding, liking for you is all I need. Until my heart gives in, I will do everything I can for.
All right, I'm not gonna pay to go into the Luther Reform House. It looks like there's like faces of the reformers and stuff. Not super interested. I've already paid to get into the Melanchthon and the church. Can't be spending all this money on going to places like this, but it is cool to be here. I think next we're gonna go to St. Mary's Church, and then I think we're gonna get some, I think I'm gonna get some lunch because I'm fairly hungry. And then I wanna ride my bike along the river to a couple of the smaller villages, I think. And then I think we'll probably head home. To be honest, if you were really like into church history and the history of like the medieval ages, this would be great for you. History of the Renaissance, this is for you for sure. This is not particularly up my alley, but it's very pretty, and I acknowledge the historical significance of it. This is just, you know, not my area of interest, really. If I'm not mistaken, I've seen this artist a few times in Berlin. I think there's one actually in Neukölln, and I think there's one in Teufelsberg. Herakut? Yeah, I think I'm fairly positive about that. So when I came, I forgot to grab my charger, my battery pack, and I didn't know how much battery I was gonna use because my phone had been running down really quickly. So I decided to not listen to music on this trip. Like walking around, usually I have my earbuds in, I'll be listening to stuff, but it is such a different experience not having that sound, not having that noise in your head. It's a little bit cathartic. It's a little bit nice, actually. I need to do this more often. I think one of the things that kind of sets me off a little bit is when everything costs money to get in, and everything here costs money to get in. So, you know, that, yeah, everything costs money. I don't like that very much.
I've always liked to be a stranger, keep my distance from the crowd. Thought that way I wouldn't get hurt, but when I met her it became a blur.
What in the boxed pizza world is this?
Never felt that way.
So not eating meat in a city like this can be difficult. Even the kebab place didn't have falafel. It's like, I don't know of a kebab place that doesn't have falafel. Your choices in a city like this are a little bit few and far between. So I decided to get a cheese pizza, margarita pizza. This pizza, I'm not exaggerating, it looks like it came out of a box. It looks like a box pizza. And it was like 10 euros, so it wasn't super cheap. I knew it took like 15 minutes, 20 minutes for it to cook. a stone, so it clearly wasn't made in a stone oven, right? It tastes like a box pizza. It's not great. So maybe don't come here and expect to get a good pizza, because I've had better box pizzas for sure. There's this place near where I used to live in Friedrichshain that had €5 pizzas. Those pizzas were better than this. I cannot tell you how deeply unsatisfying that lunch was. Just not a good pizza. And the waitstaff was fairly rude. So I cannot recommend Ristorante Trattoria. I think I've seen enough. I think I'm gonna hop on my bike, take it for a little spin around Wittenberg, and then maybe go out. There's a village I saw that I might ride it to. It's like 5 kilometers from here along the Elbe River. And I might do that, then head home, because I think I've seen all I need to see. So we're going to take a little bike ride to a small village close by called Piesteritz. And I was suggested to go here. It looks pretty, I guess. It's supposed to be down the Elbe River, although I have yet to see the river. But maybe we'll come up to it eventually. This doesn't look like the river Elbe. I think maybe Google Maps took me on a route that didn't go by the river, and the whole point of this exercise was to ride by the river. So I guess once I get there, I'll have to figure out if I can go by the river on the way back. Kind of a metaphor for this trip, if we're being completely honest. So this is where I was told to come. And I'll be honest with you, I have no fucking clue why. There's nothing to see here. What's up here? Maybe up here? Something? I don't know. Yeah. There doesn't appear to be anything to see in this city, in this town, and I don't know why it brought me here. I was told, so I had ChatGPT tell me some cool bike rides to take from Wittenberg, and it told me to come here along the river. A, wasn't along the river. B, there's absolutely nothing to see here at all. So it looks like there's a church up here. Maybe we'll check out this church. It's a pretty old looking church. It doesn't, yeah, it's not open. Churches in Germany aren't just open, which is not something I'm used to. So, all right, I think I'm done. I think I'm gonna head back to the train station. We can recap this trip when I get there. All right, so if I had to sum up Wittenberg, I'd say maybe a little disappointing. On the positive side, the Altstadt is cool, it's pretty, it's very old school German. It was really cool to see where Martin Luther put the 95 Thesis on the door, and seeing that museum, and the church was pretty cool. I don't like having to pay to get into all those places. I think, to me, that makes it just a little bit too touristy for me. I get that they have to stay in business, yada yada, but I don't know. If it's a cultural heritage thing, I don't think you should have to pay to get into it. Neat riding my bike around, even though I went to some industrial nothing like town. I don't know why I ChatGPT told me to do that, but it did. Would I come here if I was trying to make a day trip? I mean, it all depends. If you're into history and you're into like church history, then of course it's a pilgrimage spot. If you're just like me and you're a historian, but this isn't really your bailiwick, this isn't your time period, I don't know, you can probably miss it and go someplace like Potsdam or something. Of course, all this is to say your mileage may vary. The first time I went to Magdeburg, I didn't like it at all. I detested Magdeburg. But then when I went back for the Christmas market, I really enjoyed it. Your mileage will just depend. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so. Until next time, I'll see you later.